What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a huge video. This could be the biggest Marvel video ever with all the news that's been going around in the last 24 hours, if this information is true. But at the same time, I have to be independent. A lot of this information has been on Reddit for at least the last 2 years. But if it's actually going to happen, then goddamn, Marvel might actually be back. You know when people say Marvel's back? Now, if this is true, Marvel could actually be cooking long term. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. Could subscribe to the channel, really does help me. The analytics tell me that 70% of you are not subscribed, but you are returning. Be cool. Let me know everything down below. Also, if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. I'm posting so much more pop culture content over there. Sonic, Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, all that good stuff. Plus, you get to see the beautiful face. Yeah, it actually is beautiful. Behind the voice. Also, I have a channel over there where I can post set leaks, etc. that I can't get away with on YouTube. So it's so much better. Post it over there. Also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, WarstuG. Right, let's get into this. So, this is coming from someone, well, okay, let's be honest, I'm going to be transparent. A lot of what this person is saying has basically been said by a lot of other people. Now, I'm going to start doing things differently. I'm not going to come at scoopers anymore because I just like reporting stuff. So, but I've got to give full validation of where it's actually come from. So a lot of what this James Mackle on Twitter is saying has basically already been said by every other scooper over the past year. Also, there was a huge Reddit post years ago saying that Avengers Secret Wars is going to be split into 2 movies, which I think is a great idea because 3 hours movies in the cinema or the theater, as my biggest audience Americans say, is a bit too much. So this has culminated from the 19th of May, which was yesterday. Some of it is very skeptical and sus. So we're going to go over all of it and let me know down below what you think. When he says, I've been told, I don't like it when these scoopers say that because it's always secondhand information. Like, you're not the source, you're getting information from the source. I've been told that Marvel will announce the rest of Phase 6 at the San Diego Comic-Con panel and that they are set to announce Avengers Secret Wars will have 2 parts. And the third Avengers movie will probably have a different name than Part 2. And they posted, I assume he means San Diego Comic-Con this summer. I assume he means this summer. And then he posted Avengers Forever 2028 May. That's just a knock-up title card. So, split into 2 parts. That would be very interesting because Marvel's been in a tough position. Because even though they can adapt a lot of the storyline that was going towards Kang's dynasty, realistically, even if Fantastic Four has a bit of Doctor Doom in it, Avengers Doomsday is literally going to set up Secret Wars. But can you do Secret Wars in 1 movie? And as you know, they are building a lot of stuff in Pinewood Studios, in Buckinghamshire, around that kind of area. And they're not shooting Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars back to back. They are, but there's like a 4-month gap in between based on what the Russo brothers officially said. So if we assume Secret Wars is going to be in Battle World, and the sets they've got out there at the moment, sure, they're shooting for 4 to 5 to 6 months, right, currently, right? It appears that they're shooting some kind of X-Men scene, Sentinel scene, incursion-based scene. So that scene outside will most likely change potentially. So can they do Avengers Secret Wars in 1 movie without making it 4 hours? Most likely not. But I've got to give credit to Reddit because although he's coming out and saying it, this actually was on Reddit years ago. And I think to set up Doom's storyline in Doomsday would make a lot of sense. And then to actually have the movie properly play out over 2 movies, 2027, 2028, would actually make a lot more sense. And he also says this, I mean, I don't know if I believe these kind of, the titles are ridiculous. I've been told Marvel will be announcing the rest of Phase 6. Okay, we've already said that. They'll be announcing the 5th Thor movie. The working title I've heard is Thor Hammer Fall. Now, the reason I'm very suspicious about this person is because the titles are they're so stupid. But to be fair, he didn't block me. I went at him just to see how he responds. He responded like an actual human being, and he didn't block me, okay? And he says, trust me, in July, you can charge me. Trust me, in July, you can charge me. Yeah, people are going at him because generally what happens with the internet, if you don't have a very big following, people don't believe you. So he's got less than 2,000 followers, right? But, you know, the biggest creators on the earth post stuff that aren't necessarily true. So the follow count doesn't really matter. And then he goes on to say the same thing. They're announcing World War Hulk at San Diego Comic-Con. I've not seen anywhere online that makes me believe they have the rights back to Universal. Now, we know we had the potential concept art leak, and there was a lot of Hulk. So if we are going to get to said World War Hulk, if that concept art is still in play, as we know concept art is just a concept, doesn't actually mean it's got to be real. We're going to have to get to Battle World first. So World War Hulk and all these movies couldn't take place before Avengers Doomsday, right? And then there's another one. You get where we're going. Like, and why I say Marvel will be back is because I believe they need a Thor movie. They need a Doctor Strange movie, so on and so forth. And then he went on to say the Doctor Strange 3. Now, Alex Perez and a bunch of other people have said stuff like that before. A lot of people thought Doctor Strange 3 was coming post-Secret War. But according to this bot account, because it is a bot, like, the image isn't really him, I don't believe. So it says the calendar date for November the 6th, 2027 is already scheduled to be Doctor Strange 3. And the movie will be called Doctor Strange in the Incursions of Insanity, Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so we all know Marvel needs at least 1 year. So if this is true, they'd have to start shooting the movie this year. Now, it could very well be true. It really could be true. I'm not disputing the fact. I think they should make a Doctor Strange 3. They should make a Thor 5, right? They should make a World War Hulk movie. I don't believe they have the rights back. Secret War should be split into 2 parts, bro. But it's just the fact he comes out and says it all out of nowhere. And then he goes and says information that a lot of people have already said. The title, In the Incursion of Insanity, is provisional for the production of the film. Another name given to it is Time Runs Out. By July, we'll find out the official release. So Alex Perez has gone over a bunch of stuff. Now, this person also claims he was the person that leaked the script for Doctor Strange into Multiverse of Madness, which went viral upon the release of the trailer. Shortly after that, the release of the film came to fruition. Now, I can't validate. I've reached out to people. I can't actually find out if it actually was him. And then on his actual Twitter account, he claims this is a new account because the other account got deleted. Now, this is where it really gets skeptical. So Elizabeth Olsen is a fan favorite with everyone. Everyone loves her because she's Wanda, right? So we've heard that the Scarlet Witch movie has been in the works for the last 25. Okay, I'm joking, right? But you get why I say that. We've heard this movie's been in the works for the longest time ever. So again, another person has said it. The Wanda movie is in development and will be released in 2028, May 2028. The working title for this movie is Kingdom of the Damned. And this is courtesy of the Definitive Seeker, who they've been wrong a few times. I'm trying to be more professional. I'm trying to be more respectful to scoopers rather than just saying they're fake. I want to just give them the benefit of doubt because I'm getting sick tired of going at scoopers because I'm just questioning their validity. And when I do that, they get upset and block me. I'd love to have a conversation. But if you pop on to the Definitive Seeker's Twitter, goes one step further and claims that's got a directed by Jacques, who has signed an exclusive 3-year deal with Disney for at least 3 projects under the umbrella by her representation, CAA, with legal counsel from Eric. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but there will be a Scarlet Witch movie. That is for sure. At some point. And whilst I was shooting this, the same person says, yo, according to my sources, it's not really a source, it's like a second or third source. Black Panther 3 will be occupied the February 2028 release date. Now, if all this information is true, it's not exactly like it's new information, but if most of this is going to get revealed at San Diego Comic-Con in the summer, that is freaking insane and that is cooking. But like I've said, the information, it's basically not new information. Alex Perez has said this before. Doctor Strange 3 will have 2 time periods for you to understand moments before the final incursion on the battle world of God Doom. Now, Alex Perez says this first. The film would adapt the story The Time Runs Out, where Doctor Strange realizes that his magic is not enough against the incursion, so he makes a pact with the dark entities, exchanging parts of his soul for a corrupted power. He helps Doom create Battle World to save the multiverse. So although this James Mackle is claiming like he's an insider, no, he's just re-reporting information from other people. Now, I'm trying not to go at these so-called insiders. I'm being more respectful than I normally would. And also, he posted the Champion Series will officially be announced soon. Got no interest for that. Sorry, lads. But again, that comes courtesy of Nexus Point News. So I don't know if this is just a news account or if this is actually his information. But god damn, if that stuff's true, that is freaking sick, lads. I really would love all that to be true. Secret Wars put into 2 movies. Having Avengers Forever could be a pretty sick movie, but it should come out. Obviously, Avengers Forever should be the last one. Pretty interesting, but it doesn't really matter how well the Fantastic Four movie does because we know they're filming the movie. So very freaking interesting. Yesterday, we covered the TikToker jumping onto the set, even though I think it was an actual controlled leak and it was actually done by Disney. It is what it is. So like always, lads, I'm going to be trying to be more unbiased about reporting these alleged insiders because I can't be bothered to keep going at Scoopers, basically. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video very soon, guys. Catch ya later.